Audio, video, chat. Okay, here we go again. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tag It Morning Motivation with your host, B. Miles, here to inspire, motivate, and entertain you. Started off during the COVID-19 home quarantine. Now it's turned into the George Floyd national protest. And now it's evolving even further. I just call this the evolution of police brutality. I'm going to start it off with this because these could very well be police. I mean, they're so comfortable with what they're talking about doing. They could be police. Otherwise, why would you be so comfortable talking about these things? Let's see here. Here we go.
Hi guys, I purchased this walkie-talkie just for fun for my daughter and I have it on right now. And I'm close to Wilshire and Alexandria, and I'm hearing like the worst conversation right now between, I believe it might be three men. They're definitely white because they're being extremely racist. And I feel like making a police report because they're talking about shooting, African Americans. And I feel like, I don't know, but here is the radio signal that I'm getting. And this is just creepy. Like, I honestly, if anybody knows about this.
Bodies outside the front door. You break our damn window, there'll be a pile of bodies there to block your entrance. You won't come into a damn store where there's people laying there dying. $100 a head, everyone you kill.
So,
You headed down there, Jim? Probably the hired gun, man. He's going down there to do his shoes. I was in the middle of a meeting tonight, really. Jim's the hired gun going down there to fit in the shoes. I'm going to head on down there in a minute or two, and we're going to make big money to fit in the shoes, killing niggers. Watch Channel 7. Look at the cops in the vehicle. Channel 5. What's going on in the vehicle? Well, they're probably stirring a little. You gotta start shooting to kill, man. Mr. Trump said so. Shoot to kill. Hire guns. You want to get out there and kill? Oh. Guns. Come on, come on. $100 a head. Every nigger kill. $100. $50 for a Mexican.
this motherfucker.
Mexicans aren't worth that much. There's so fucking many of them. They're clenching fucking rapids. $100 per $50 per Mexican. Kill it all. 100 guns. Come on, come on.
Somebody please. You
Look at these crazy people running down the street.
guys are more than welcome to
They're ready.
police.
Security guards.
Like, send them to, I don't know, I don't give a crap right now. Like, this is just ridiculous. They're talking about how, and I'm just phrasing them, I do not use this language. They were like, oh, the niggers are being,
You want to go down there and be a hired gun?
and
If it's legitimately legal, yes.
they're just planning something.
Problem, man. We're in Southern California. I guarantee you, if there are a few other states that I can think of, oh yeah, the sheriff put out a call for all citizens, arm yourself and come on down here. Where was that, Bob? In your real world, not in your mind. In the real world. Some little town in the middle of northern Idaho.
You guys, for those of you that are in downtown supporting, please be safe. I feel like obviously, our government's gonna try to do something to make everyone go crazy and make those who are rioting, look bad. There's obviously people that are already planning going down there and harming. So please be safe, stay safe. I'm gonna keep on posting these things because I feel like, it's just gonna get crazier. Stay safe, everyone.
Together, a few grenades would do the trick, man. They're all together, too close together, man. Take them all out.
Wow.
Cops can just fly over them and spray them with pepper spray. Drop pepper spray on them. Turn all the other units out. And then fly right over these guys and drop pepper spray on them. I'd like to see that. That would be pretty interesting. That'd be entertaining for tonight. Sit here and watch the pepper spray come down on them. Like say it's like a pillow or something that falls to the floor and activates. Of course, the cops would be hit by the pepper spray too. So, well, they have their masks and stuff.
Minister Malcolm, you have suggested that there are all kinds of movements in Harlem growing that you and I don't know about.
Oh yes, frustration itself has been sufficient. All that was necessary to make Negroes realize the importance of banding together, and Negroes are banding together.
Banding together in what kind of movements?
Different kinds of movements, all kinds of movements, and they remain almost invisible. They remain almost unknown, but yet they are there. When I say invisible, I mean invisible in the sense that their existence is unknown, and no matter how much you try and track them down, you can't find them. And never try and find them through the Negro leaders. The Negro leaders are famous as apologists. If you recall, one of the most famous Negro leaders in 1959 was asked by you about the Black Muslim movement. And he said he knew nothing about it. And the next moment you flashed a picture on the screen with him shaking hands with me. So if you will recall. So this is their policy. This is their attitude or their reaction. They never know what's going on in the Negro community.
And what form will the activities of these various so-called invisible movements take in Harlem this summer?
An example, Commissioner Murphy. Almost every statement that Commissioner Murphy makes would give you the impression that he's encouraging the police, rank and file policemen, that to take whatever method or measures necessary to hold the Negroes in check. He feeds the type of statistics to the white public to make them think that Harlem is a complete criminal area, that everyone is prone toward violence. This gives the police the impression that they can then go and brutalize the Negroes or suppress the Negroes or even frighten the Negroes. Whenever something happens, 20 police cars converge on one area. This doesn't frighten Negroes. So it means that someone is either misinforming Commissioner Murphy and making him use tactics this year that he would not use 4 years ago, or that the former policeman Kennedy would not use. And this force that is so visible in the Harlem community creates a spirit of resentment in every Negro. They think they're living in a police state and they become hostile toward the policeman. They think that the policeman is there to be against them rather than to protect them. And these thoughts, these frustrations, these apprehensions automatically are sufficient to make these Negroes begin to form means and ways to protect themselves in case the police themselves get too far out of line.
Once again, we are waking up to a shock. 11 officers shot in Dallas. 5 of them have been killed. Let's get right to this breaking news. Here's what we know. It all started before 9 o'clock local time in Dallas. A march protesting this week's officer-involved shootings in Louisiana and Minnesota had just wrapped up when gunmen opened fire in what's being described now as a coordinated ambush-style attack.
As we said, 5 officers were killed, 4 from the Dallas Police Department. The 5th was a Dallas area rapid transit officer. At least 6 other officers were wounded, along with 1 civilian.
President Obama, who's at a NATO summit in Poland, spoke earlier this morning. He said he was horrified by the attack. He called it vicious, calculated, and despicable. We have complete coverage this morning. Let's start with NBC's Gabe Gutierrez at the scene for us. Gabe, good morning.
Savannah, good morning. It was a protest against police violence, and then violence erupted. As you mentioned, 11 officers shot this morning. 5 of them are dead, and much of downtown Dallas is still on lockdown. But within the past few minutes, we just learned that authorities finished sweeping the area for explosives and found none.
After this week's police shooting deaths of black men in Louisiana and Minnesota, what began as a peaceful protest in downtown Dallas turned suddenly into chaos. Just before 9 p.m., terrified demonstrators running for cover, others stopping to help the injured. Cell phone video capturing the barrage of gunfire.
Shots fired, officer down. It's an assist officer.
Police ducking behind squad cars and buildings. One officer ditching his motorcycle, taking cover.
I just started shooting, man. Like all of the cops were getting shot, man. I just saw cops bending over, man. Like it had to be like 5 or 6 cops, like they was all getting shot down.
Authorities calling it an ambush.
We heard the shots, and I saw one of the officers land down on his stomach, and he was non-responsive. They rolled him over.
At least 2 snipers in elevated positions opening fire during the rally, and officers who were not wearing riot gear.
These suspects were positioning themselves in a way to triangulate on these officers from 2 different perches in garages in the downtown area, and planned to injure and kill as many law enforcement officers as they could.
Overnight, shock, confusion. Dallas coming to grips with a rapidly unfolding national tragedy.
We both saw a baby stroller left in the middle of the street, and people walked over to the baby stroller and they picked it up. Like, I guess the parent was in shock.
The frantic search for answers as a tense standoff was underway. A suspect cornered in a parking garage, exchanging gunfire with police. By 1 a.m., authorities saying another suspect, a woman, was taken into custody near the garage. 2 people seen leaving the area in a Mercedes were also stopped and being questioned. Then horrifying threats from the gunman inside the garage.
Told our negotiators that the end is coming, and he's going to hurt and kill more of us, meaning law enforcement, and that there are bombs all over the place in the garage and in downtown.
Within minutes, bystanders heard a blast. By 2:25 local time, that suspect was dead. Police swept the area for possible explosive devices and found none. A massive investigation now underway after the deadliest attack on U.S. law enforcement since 9/11.
At this point, it is unclear what relationship, if any, the suspects had with the actual demonstration. Now, this all happened not far from Dealey Plaza, and more than half a century after the Kennedy assassination, this city is grieving after another national tragedy. At least 5 officers murdered in the line of duty.
Wow. So, sorry for them officers whose lives were lost. I honestly thought you guys had more time to really try to resolve the situation, but obviously the ancestors have other plans and ideas. And so now you get a glimpse of the second wave. And we know following this second wave, since the police will not be sufficient to deal with this type of animal, you're going to level up to a National Guard or armed force. And in that event, the ancestors are advising me to let you know that, again, There is even a third wave behind the second that makes the second look pale in comparison. Inshallah, this is where we are in the world. And this is not me. This is just a message from me or through me from the ancestors. I just would advise everyone take a moment and really decide where you want things to go, because we're almost at a point of no return, inshallah.